you sucker!
Welcome inside the Hall of Fame, y'all. This is Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me. They call him the GOAT. So let's not forget that. Let's make sure we give him his props. He's moving up in life. He's got that new book, #1 bestseller, Back to the Future. So guys, you see it somewhere, pick it up, show him some love. How you doing, dog?
Hey, I'm good, Book. I appreciate that plug. Hey, I'm excited. You know what? Whenever you called me and you said, hey, we're going to do something special on Monday, you told me what it was going to be. I've been amped about it ever since. It's the Tales from the TNA Crypt. I'm excited to talk about this. How are you doing, though? How's the weekend? Everyone good?
Hey, I'm good, man. I made sure I blew my beard out a little bit nicer today just to make sure everybody out there don't forget about the shine and the gloss. But I've been excited about today as well, man. The Tales from the TNA Crypts is something that I've always wanted to talk about, but I never did. I didn't want to leave that company and just go out there and jump on the internet and start talking on social media. But I say, man, it's been a while, man. It's been a long time since TNA. TNA is no more now. I mean, this is not even TNA anymore. Dixie Carter is nowhere near the business anymore. So I thought, man, this will be a great time to talk about, as well as I know a lot of people out there got a lot of questions about, man, how was that TNA run? What was it about? And did I like it, first and foremost? So, man, I just want to answer all the questions out there that everyone have from A to Z, man. I got some really, really cool stories. One of the coolest stories, I'm going to start off right here before you even say anything, but I just want to tell this story before I even forgot it. But it actually has something to do with my King Booker run. And King Booker was, taking over the SmackDown world. And I remember we went to Vegas and we had a show in Vegas, and I was, telling the people to bow down and, kiss the ring. And, a lot of people wanted to kiss the ring, but it's this one woman, she defied King Booker. She would not kiss the ring. She would not, bow down. She would not, just go along with the program, which she really was going along with the program. She just didn't know it. And then I remember doing that match, me and Charmel, whatnot, we got up out of there. I remember, trying to get her to kiss it on the way out. She still wouldn't do it. And then I remember being backstage in TNA at one of the shows, and this woman, she walks up to me and she goes, "Do you remember me?" And I go, Yeah, I remember you. And it was the woman from that show. And she goes, "I just want to thank you for that night. You gave me so much. I was dealing with cancer at that time, and I was really in a real bad place." And she said, "But you brought my spirit up so big." And I was like, wow, and we hugged each other, but it was just a moment. And that moment right there was, one of my coolest moments in TNA, running into, someone who I had an impact on and didn't even know it.
Yeah, no pun intended, right? An impact on. I know, and that's the thing that I have a lot of questions too for myself, just as a fan. But I don't think I've even ever asked you about TNA. We're going to get into all of it, of course. I just think real quick we should plug this Saturday. Road Drive-In is officially going down. The Reality of Wrestling is presenting a drive-in wrestling show in the parking lot of the World Gym Arena. Tickets are available right now at realityofwrestling.com. And the other big news from the day, wrestling related, I think before we get into TNA, your buddy from back in the day, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, purchased the XFL. I saw this morning driving in. You and I, big fans of the XFL. The Houston Roughnecks, 5-0, undefeated. PJ Walker. We were big fans. Then it shut down when COVID hit, and now it goes from Vince McMahon to The Rock now owns it. What do you think about that?
Nah, man, it's a hell of a business investment, a hell of a business move to be able to purchase it. I know he's got partners.
Yeah.
To be able to purchase it in a time like this right now where COVID is going on, but not being in the same position as Vince McMahon was with his partners, as far as everything going, paychecks going out, and nothing to do at the same time. Now purchasing XFL, being able to let it set on the sideline, let everything come back to play, and then restart big. Man, what an idea, and what a coup to be able to pick that thing up for what, $15 million or something.
$15 million, yeah.
Pick that thing up and run. You know what? I ain't trying to talk about reality of wrestling or nothing, but if somebody came around with 15
we could own the company.
We might have to talk, but no, man. I think it's big for The Rock. Big ups to my brother for for literally stepping up the bar and saying, "Hey, now we finna do it at a totally another level." I appreciate that because he giving so many other young people inspiration. He's inspiring right now. He's definitely like a trailblazer right now, and I give him nothing but the most power that I possibly can from the bottom of my heart to say, brother, keep pushing and doing it and doing it big. Yeah, man, I love it.
I think it's amazing, and he went in with an investment group, including Danny Garcia, his business partner. She's part owner as well, and I think it's awesome. And I don't know, I could be ignorant to the subject, but are there any other minority owned professional sports leagues at this level? Do you know what I mean? Like for The Rock to be in there and be the face of this thing, like you said, he means so much to so many people, and he's such a leader. And I think that he's the perfect face for a league like this to take it seriously. I mean, look at what he's done in Hollywood. Look what he did, during his time in WWE. He's always figured out how to make something out of nothing. I mean, you know this better than anybody, but his story is he had $7 in his pocket, and now he's got a lot more than $7. So yeah. I trust in The Rock to do it the right way, and I think that this is going to open the door for a lot of players to finally live out their dream. Because The Rock, think about this. He didn't go to the NFL. He wanted to, but he ended up going to the Canadian Football League and still tried to live out that dream of being a football player. Now he's going to present that same opportunity to so many people who could go out there, show out in the XFL like PJ Walker did, and get a contract in the NFL. I think it's great that the XFL is coming back. I think Rock's the right guy to do it.
No, I mean, he's actually putting his money where his mouth is. He was that same guy that all of these guys were once upon a time. Just looking for someone to give me a break, someone to give me a chance. Man, if they just open up something, it's kind of like what we do at Reality of Wrestling. We, get these guys a springboard to actually go out there and show their talent. Hopefully, it leads to something bigger and better. But if it don't, and it ended right here today, man, the journey has been really, really awesome, as well as getting this opportunity to actually be able to do this at this level. Man, it don't get no bigger than that. And that's what people really need to, focus, I think, with when it comes to, having a chance, having an opportunity, being able to be a part of something. And right now, the XFL, man, there's so many guys out there want to be a part of something special and something new. Kind of like what we're going to be talking about here tonight. Tales from the TNA Crypts, man. It was something new back when I thought it wasn't brand new, but it was still shiny. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
you know what I mean? The leather seats wasn't torn. Yeah, you know what I mean? So it hadn't been in the shop too many times. So it was pretty much new as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to seeing exactly what Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, give him that respect and call him by his real name that his mama gave him. And hopefully this thing do big things.
Yeah. And you know what? Hey, Rock, Dwayne Johnson, if you need, a couple people to call the Roughnecks games, if you bring them back to H-Town, I mean, you and who better?
Brad can do that, not me. I appreciate
the coach.
Brad is good for the job. He's willing, he's able, especially if it's a check.
I'm there.
I'm serious, man. No, I'm serious, man. But I'm glad actually because we got a chance to actually go to the game here in Houston. And man, I was working that day, y'all. I was working, man.
Recap that day. What we went to the XFL.
Yeah. Then we had to go. We had
went to XFL. Then we went back to the arena.
Wrestling. We had that show that night.
You were.
Like that. Then we had the fight that night down at the Toyota Center. So
Crazy.
I tell you, my feet was hurting so bad at the end of that day because I tried to put a suit on. I tried to look nice, but every bone in my body was aching. You know, and the seats, they wasn't the greatest seats in the world either. You know what I mean? Them seats was tight. You know, they were real tight. You know what I mean? And when you 258 pounds of romping, stomping, grave digging destruction, you need some room. Guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, y'all. You know, what better time than now, really, to get into this, right?
Yeah, no, I think this is the time to go into it and talk about the tales from the TNA Crypt.
Tales from the TNA Crypts. I wish we had some scary music to put on and some candles. So don't worry about it. I don't want you to.
And if I could get something done. But you know, before I think we get into the scary stories aspect, what I wanted to know, because when you were in WWE at that time, 06, 07, this was the top really that you were in the WWE, right? I mean, you were King Booker, you were the world champion. I think that you went in to SummerSlam that year. I think you and Triple H main event at SummerSlam that in 2007. So you were really riding high. What was the decision? Why did you step away to go to TNA at that time?
No, I didn't step away to go to TNA. That was the last thing on my mind was going to TNA. The last thing on my mind was wrestling at that point in time when I did decide to walk away from WWE. I mean, I was at the height of my career at that time. I thought I was, you know, at the peak of my wrestling performance. I felt like, man, I knew every inch of the ring at that time. I could make anybody look good at that time, no matter what situation I was in, man. We was going to go. Bobby Lashley, man, me and him had some of the best matches at that time. I mean, Bobby looked like he was one of the best workers in the country. No, I'm just playing. But I tell you, Batista, man, I mean, the run with Batista, man, Batista looked like the animal when he was working with King Booker, man. I mean, we had some really, really great stuff. And then stuff when I beat Jerry Lawler up, man, I was having so much fun. But that was the pressure. It was a pressure cooker, man. It was a pressure cooker being in that situation, having to go out there and perform at that level each and every night. It was no nights off, man. I was working at the beginning of the show, and I was working in the main event as well. I was working in the dark match, which is the advertised main event just for that town, for that city. And I tell you, I was so tired at the end of that run. At one point, I was just like, man, please, somebody just beat me. Please, somebody beat me. MVP walked by me, and I was asleep on one of the crates one day because I was just so tired. He woke me up and said, "Book, you okay?" I go, "Yeah." He just walked off because he understood the situation that I was in, and it take a certain kind of person to be able to put themselves under that situation. But for me, man, I was going through more than just thinking about making money at that time. I was like I say there again on top of the world, but we had lost Eddie. And when we lost Eddie, man, that was huge for me because Eddie's a really good friend, man. Eddie, we've had a lot of good memories together, and unspoken memories that none of the boys know about, but just Eddie and I, and Charmel, and just it was that kind of relationship. And then the Benoit situation, and I was wow, I was really, that was another guy that him and I had a really close bond. And then that happened, and for me not to know why, it shook me. It really shook me. And then I started thinking about life. I really started thinking about life more than anything. I started thinking about, my wife. My wife and I, we was trying to have kids at that time too, when we couldn't have kids due to a situation. And then I don't know if it was stress or whatnot, but soon as we left the company, we got pregnant. But I just thought it was time for me to step away from the business and step away from that machine. Is what I call it, because the business it may be different today, and they talk about it on social media like it is. But I remember when Jake the Snake said in that first documentary, he was telling
Beyond the Mat.
yeah, he's telling his daughter, baby, when you sign that contract, you are obligated to work every day. And I go, wow, so I was like, man, that's who I was at that time. My son, we was going through turmoil, and he's 35 years old now, and it's crazy. I was like, man, I gotta take myself out of the race right now. I need to unplug. And that was my main reason for leaving WWE at that time. I remember Michael P.S. Hayes, one of my favorite people, Michael P.S. Hayes. He say, Buck, you got a baby face run at King Booker, man. You got a baby face run another year, man. And I was like, man, I can't do it, man. I can't do it. And I walked away from it. And you got to be able to walk away from it sometime too, because sometimes what you love the most can destroy you. It really can. And I'm gonna tell you, no one can tell me that I don't love the business and don't love, what the game has done for me and done for so many others. But for me at that point in time, it was time for me to just pull the lever back, put it in park, and go home for a minute. I went to Los Angeles, and I did some voiceover work. I stayed in my Winnebago on the beach for 3 years like a bum.
3 years?
I'm sorry, 3 months.
I was going to say, damn.
I'm sorry, 3 months. Not 3 years. I'm 3 months in Newport Beach. I laid there on the beach, working out, training. And my wife was at home. She was pregnant. Life was really, really good. And the phone rang as far as the TNA thing came. It wasn't, I didn't make a phone call or anything like that and say, hey guys, and then when they did call, they made me a nice, sweet deal. But that's how the TNA run started.
So when you made the decision to leave, because I think Michael Hayes was probably right. The fans at that point were itching for King Booker to be a babyface so we could finally cheer you instead of boo you. Who did you tell that you were leaving? Did you have a conversation with Vince, or was it somebody else? And you just said, hey, I can't do this.
Yeah, I had a meeting with Vince, and it wasn't a meeting that anybody was mad or anything like that. I think he knew where I was at that time, and I think he respected that as well. Charmel didn't know.
You didn't tell her?
I didn't tell Charmel.
Why did you not tell Charmel?
I don't know. I never tell Charmel when we're gonna be quitting. I tell her when we quit. Baby, we're wrapped up here. What? We're wrapped up. But one thing about it, she's always followed my lead. She's always been right there in my corner, and a lot of decisions that I try to make, I know I'm making the right decisions for us. It's never have been about me ever one time. And she's always, trusted me to make that decision. She said we always land safe every time. Thank God, you know what I mean? But yeah, man, it was a hard decision though. It wasn't easy, it wasn't easy by far because I wasn't hurt, I wasn't injured, I wasn't, that wasn't it. Like I say, I just thought it was time for me to unplug from the machine because I had been running since 1993, nonstop. I had never taken a year off. I had not seen a football season in that many years, and I was like, I didn't want to be like a lot of the guys that just look at wrestling and think about wrestling and that's the end all be all. I always wanted more than just, on my headstone when I die, it says, "Here lies Booker T, a great wrestler." I just think, it has to be more than that to me, as a person still trying to strive and do other things and be other things and go other places. I'm not going to put a limit on, just the career of Booker T, and that was good. And, it's just so much more, and it has nothing to do with wrestling, Yeah.
Yeah, but still, I mean, it's a pretty big, I think, ballsy is the only word I can think of, decision to walk away with you and Sharmell both, under contract at that time, during your popularity. But when you look back, would you have changed that, or was that the right decision and that was right?
Well, I think it was the right decision at that time to walk away. I had a lot of money in the bank at that time too, man.
It made it a little bit easier.
No, I'm serious. I had a lot of money in the bank, and properties and stuff, and I tried to make sure that when I did walk away from it, I was going to be okay, and I knew I had my retirement at a certain age, So I've been planning to actually walk away from it. I didn't think there again that I was going to go to TNA or anything like that, but I just knew I don't know if I thought I may have gone back to WWE later. I don't know what I thought, but I just knew at that point in time, if I didn't walk away, I felt like something bad was going to happen inside. I just had a feeling that, if I didn't walk away right then and there, we may not be having this conversation, honestly. And I just say that because people got to know when to say when. Not saying that for any other reason. People got to know when you got to say, let me think about me for a second. Stick around, y'all. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
The Academy.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, y'all. We tales from the TNA Crypts and
I'm ready, man. I'm ready.
Everything, man. We talk about a little bit of everything, guys. You got your questions. Definitely send them in. We'll definitely get to them, because this is something there again I've been wanting to talk about for quite some time, but I still want to make it. Thing is, guys, I still don't want people to think I'm trying to bury TNA, but some of these stories, man, you got to hear them, man, because they're pretty funny. Most of them.
I got to say, we did put out a tweet. If you want to go respond to that tweet on your account, Booker at Booker T5X, with your questions. I will say already the tweet went up right when we started this broadcast. Over 103 questions already came in off that one tweet. A lot of people want to know a lot about the TNA run, because I think for us as wrestling fans, this was the first time when you went over there, and there was you, Angle, Sting, Jarrett, Kevin, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles. It felt like, oh, whoa, hold on.
Yeah.
We've got another one, unexpected entry, right? A late entry into the game. This could be the next, I don't want to say the next WCW. I think that's the right thing to say. This could be the next legitimate company to be an alternative to WWE.
Yeah, I mean, it had a chance. It really did, man. It really did. It had a chance. I mean, when I came into TNA, I was gung ho because, like I said, I got the phone call, and then I got I think it was Terry Taylor or somebody, or Pat Buck or somebody. I can't remember who it was, but it was somebody saying, "Hey, man, we want to talk to you." And I was like, "Yeah, cool. I ain't got nothing to do. I'm still in shape. I mean, I think I could do a little something, And I never thought about WWE or anything like that, because it had nothing to do with WWE. And then again, I never thought I would ever I didn't know if I would ever be working with WWE ever again, but I didn't leave on bad terms or anything. But when I got the call and they said, "Hey man, you know, you willing to come in and work for like 60 days out of the year?" And I was like, "Yeah, cool." You know, and it was an X amount of dollars
compared to 300, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know, and the thing is, it wasn't WWE money or anything like that, but it was a nice chunk of change to come in for 60 days. You know, when you calculate it out, you know, you coming in, you know, to Florida, you ain't got to go too much further than that. Orlando, Disney, you know what I mean? I mean, man, it's like a cool little vacation every couple of weeks. You know what I mean? You know, go down and do TV. So it was definitely fitting to, you know, the way I was in my life at that time. And the money was like, man, okay, it'll pad the income a little bit, you know, make the bank account not go down as fast, you know, because one thing about that I don't know if you got one, but it's something at the end of your driveway. It's look like a little box, you know, little
red flag.
Yeah, little notes come in every week, you know, a lot of bills. And they don't stop coming. So I was thinking about making sure we keep the gravy train rolling, right? So yeah, I'll take that deal, man. I'm gonna come in, I'll come in and do something. And then, but more importantly, I saw, you know, just like what I see with my students at Reality of Wrestling, my youngsters, my kids, they're like family to me. I saw a lot of young talent in TNA that I was like, man, if I could just get my hands on them, just like I was talking about Naomi. Say, man, if I could get my hands on her for 1 month, you know, I could change the way she thinks. I was like, man, and I got AJ Styles, I got Samoa Joe, got Bobby Roode, you know, Jay Lethal, you know, Xavier Woods. I had Awesome Kong, you know, and I was like, man, you know, the first time I met Awesome Kong, you just swore she was a 3-year-old baby, man. She was like, I can't believe it. You know what I mean? I mean, Booker T, you know. And I even got in the ring with Awesome Kong and let her give me a body slam, and a big splash one day we were overseas. But I couldn't wait to get in the ring and, you know, work with guys like AJ Styles because I saw him, you know, perform for so many years, and his skills were literally, you know, uncanny. He was like, you know, extraordinary when I watched him work. And then I watched a guy like Samoa Joe, as big as he was, how good he could move. Joe was young then too, man. He could move, you know what I mean? And Bobby Roode, I was like, man, cut the mullet, please, cut the mullet. We can make some money with you, kid. You know what I mean? Xavier Woods, he was in the ring that night. Black Snow came to town, and we got everybody in the ring. But I was like, man, I wanted so much to get my hands on these guys and teach them and mold them, and then again have some fun at the same time. When I first came into TNA, I was, you know, it was big highlight reel there at Genesis pay-per-view with Sting. Sting, you know, called me out. We taking on Big Nash and, you know, my brother, as well as Kurt Angle, one of my brothers, you know, and that was right there, man. And it was like, wow, you know, we're all together at the same place at the same time. Now, what I'm thinking, we're all at the same place at the same time, kind of like AEW is right now. You know, you had Sting, you had Kevin Nash, you had, you know, Kurt Angle, you know, you got Booker T, you know, and you got so many other minds. I'm just saying those four right there seem like it seemed like those four minds right there, no matter what is happening, would kind of be able to guide the ship back on track if it was to start veering off course. You understand what I mean?
Yeah. No. And at that time, also from a fan perspective, the star power of all of you there at one time. Was Christian there at that time?
Christian hadn't come just yet.
He hadn't come just yet. Okay. I couldn't remember if he was there before you or after you at the same time. But even still, and then like you said, Sting, Scott Steiner, a lot of names that young wrestling fans like me, and y'all were the legends. And then I flipped the channel to watch you, and that's where I saw the phenomenal one for the first time, or Samoa Joe, Bobby Roode, the guys that you've been talking about. Even Chris Sabin or Christopher Daniels. These are the first time I'm really seeing these guys. Like, I know they had maybe a short stint in WCW there at the very end, some of those guys, but this is the first time I'm seeing Elix Skipper, or the skipper of Elix.
That's it, the skipper of Elix. That's what I call him. You know what I mean?
Seeing him do that iconic walk on the 6 sides of steel, and then you say, "Oh man, what's this 6-sided ring about?" There's so much of that, but some of those guys, they got like a reputation. You seem to have the opposite mentality, but some of the guys, as a fan, they would say, "Oh, here come former WWE guys just to hold everybody else down and hog the spotlight." Did you hear any of that about yourself when you got in? Oh, here comes another WWE guy. They're not going to give us any time. They're not going to put us over.
Nah, man. You know what? I knew going, just like when I came into WWE. There again, I always fall back to my own rules. You got to know how to make it in the locker room before you have a chance at making it in the ring. And so I go back to my own rule. Even going to TNA, I didn't go into TNA thinking that I was a big shot or anything like that. Honestly, when I went to TNA, I think that's the first time somebody ever saw me in a pair of jeans. I'm serious.
Right.
No, the reason why I didn't want to come to work dressed in a suit every week and making people think, man, look at him trying to play down on us and wearing a suit every day. And none of those guys did it. So I say, okay, let me fit in. All right. That was my choice to do that. I say, let me try to fit in with these guys, start wearing jeans and some of the clothes that they wear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But the first thing I did, and I'm gonna tell you, those guys gonna test for me. You got the AJ Styleses and Samoa Joes, the Rudes, all these guys, they can attest to everything that we're talking about right here. So everything here is real, 100%. Okay. First thing I did when I got to TNA is I asked to have a meeting with all the guys. If I say, hey, man, it's a cool. I can't remember why, but we assembled all the guys in the arena. And I talked to all those guys, and AJ, all of them, they were there. And I say, man, just want y'all to know, man, that I know y'all got y'all feel of WWE guys coming down here, getting their big checks, and y'all probably hot about it. I say, but look, man, I'm different. I say, I want to help you guys. I say, I really want to help you guys. And we had a meeting. I say, whatever you guys need. I say, well, I'm your guy. Come to me. If I can help you, no matter what it is, boom, I'm going to help you. And I'm going to tell you, any one of those guys that was at that meeting, they'll tell you the same exact thing that I'm telling you right now. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Booker T that's exactly what he said. But then it's something, it's saying something is one thing. Doing it is something totally different. Now, we got to take a break here in a few seconds. But doing something is something totally different. That's where the TNA tales, from the Crypt come into play, because I did exactly what I said I was going to do for those guys in that meeting that day. And there again, all of them can attest to it because they were there. They saw it, they lived it, and we're going to keep on talking about it. Guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame, and it's about to get real thick. And we just starting to stir the pot. Stick around. We'll be back in a minute.
The Academy.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, y'all. We Tales from the TNA Crypt tonight. And I'm glad y'all joining us inside on this conversation right here. Brad, you got anything to say before I keep it rolling?
You know what? I do. But before we continue, I do want to shout out one of our new sponsors, Book. We got to talk about, we got to talk about the face mask, our new sponsor, Boomer Naturals.
Hey, Brad, one of the biggest changes we're all dealing with right now is wearing a mask, and not all offer the same comfort and protection. I recommend the Boomer Natural 3-layer comfortable and highly breathable mask. These come in sizes for adults, teens, and children, and are in stock, can be shipped to you quick.
Yeah, Book, one of the reasons they're so highly protective is because of the nano silver technology that's literally woven right into the fabric. Nano silver can block those tiny drops and particles from getting into the nose and mouth, and that's what we want right now. It's the best protection out there. Boomer also offers the popular nano silver neck gaiters. That's a mask that'll cover your neck and face. Another great thing is that Boomer will donate one face cover for every order to nonprofits and charities, helping tens of thousands of Americans in need. And I got to say, I love that.
Yeah, order now at boomernaturals.com. Use promo code Booker and save 20%. That code Booker at boomernaturals.com. Get free shipping and handling when you spend at least $50 online at boomernaturals.com. Boom.
There we go. No, but you know what? I got to say, I got the face mask in from them. And what's cool about it is I see you rocking the glasses. It doesn't fog your glasses up. So like it lays right across the nose and it doesn't fog them up.
Yeah, the like the little surgical mask, man. You can't wear glasses with those, bro.
No.
Especially when you don't realize that you put your glasses on. Next thing you know, and hold on a second.
I know, quick too.
Yeah, man. But I'm just glad, man. I'm just glad everybody is heeding the word and getting out there and following directions. And the thing is, it seemed like such an easy thing to do. But it seemed like for the longest, so many people didn't want to jump on board. But now it seems like when the seatbelt law came along, you know, so many people in the beginning, man, they fought it, they fought it, and then now they can't imagine themselves going out without that seatbelt on. Right. This is no different than that right there. People are jumping on board. It's becoming cool. Even the president, he said he looked cool in a mask.
I look like the Lone Ranger. Let's get back into TNA.
Yeah, man.
Being there for the young guys.
No, man. Yeah. I remember the first angle I pretty much involved with was with Bobby Roode, and Bobby Roode ended up hitting Charmel. You know, it was a hot angle. Actually, I mean, I was like really heated, and the angle ended up, you know, fizzling out and whatnot. Didn't turn out the way we thought it could have been, just because I don't think, you know, I wouldn't say we didn't have our input, but you know, when the storyline is written, I pretty much have gone, you know, with the storyline because it's not my story. It's normally your story. You know, I'm just playing a role in it normally. Right. You know?
Who was writing at that time? Was it Russo?
No, Russo wasn't writing at that time. He hadn't come in at that time. It was Dutch Mantell. He was writing a lot of it at that time. Like I said, I think Terry Taylor was writing a lot of it, and then I think they had a couple of other guys that you may not even know writing it at that time. But my thing is, I try not to. There again, step on the story. It's your story. If it come out right, okay. If it don't, okay. In the beginning, I went into it with that attitude because there again, it's your show. I'm just a role player. There again, I tell my guys, you play your role, you play your role, you play your role. At the end of the night, we'll have a hell of a show. That's not my job if I'm only hired on to do certain things, wrestle. Right. Act. That's what I did. So what happened for me was no one really had any direction as far as, man, do we want, to create this or do we want to create that? It seemed like a lot of people had a lot of self-interest in their own angles and they were going out and, doing their thing and it was cool. People were making money. When you're making money, you can tend to stop thinking about the big picture. Let's just say that. And I ain't calling no names or anything like that. But when you're making a lot of money, you could tend to lose the big picture and think the gravy train is going to go forever. Or you could say, man, I really don't care. I'm just getting mine. All right. That wasn't my thought process when I went into TNA. Like I say, there again, I had money. I was coming off my WWE run. I wasn't there thinking about if I could go in and rob the bank. Okay. A lot of guys in my position would have really been thinking about, man, let me go, clean these suckers out and get out quick, and get out of Dodge, but my thought process was, man, that's not what it's about. If it works out, it'll work out. The company, grow, I'll grow with it and they'll see what my worth and they'll pay me more for it. That was my thought. And I thought, I had a 2-year deal. I say it probably will take 2 years for that to happen. Okay. So that was my plan going in. I say, man, we're going to build this thing, man, it could be big. But it's going to take at least for me 2 years to actually get in here and see what it's about. And hopefully I can put my footprint on it, and hopefully they'll accept it. But there again, things didn't work out that way. The angle with Rude, it didn't work out that way. The angle, with, everybody else that I worked with, didn't work out properly. I worked with a lot of guys I really don't even remember working in that company. The 4 main guys, Sting, Kurt Angle, Scott Steiner, Kevin Nash. I never worked with either one of those guys the whole time I was in TNA. So no, that right there to me was, we all were baffled about why, what the heck was going on, and where are we going here? But where we found ourselves were, old lions versus young lions, which, me personally, that angle works anywhere in the world.
All the time.
Anywhere in the world, that angle works. Where the old, come on, you see the Rocky movie, man. Come on, everywhere in the world, the old lion versus young lion always. I don't care if it's in football. They're talking about Tom Brady right now, 43 years old. Can he get back to the Super Bowl? That he'll be the oldest quarterback. And so that angle never goes away. So when you got guys like myself, guys like Sting, guys like Kurt Angle, Kevin Nash, Scott Steiner, man, with Charmel, pulling toe. We got something here against guys like AJ Styles, Bobby Roode, Samoa Joe, Jay Lethal, and all the young lions. Man, that right there, that angle right there alone could run for 2 to 3 years properly. Maybe even longer than that. And the only reason I say that is because, man, our old legs wasn't going to last too much longer. But in the process, I thought, man, we were in the perfect position to make a whole lot of young talent. Now, I did get a chance to work with those guys, and that right there, for me, I was satisfied, as far as my TNA run, getting a chance to work with, Bobby Roode one-on-one, getting a chance to work with AJ Styles one-on-one, Samoa Joe one-on-one, to try to put my blueprint and my thumbprint on those guys and talk to them about what working was all about, and the performing, like I talk about all the time, still to this day, all about, and how you
Shakespeare, the Romeo and Juliet,
Phantom. You go out there and get yourself over. How you go out there and take it. You can't wait on someone to give it to you. You got to let the fans, in that arena, say, hey man, this the guy, we coming to see right here. So for me to actually be able to put my thumbprint on those guys, I had a lot of fun doing it. Me and Bobby Roode there again, the angle didn't turn out to be the best angle, but me and Bobby, we went out and had some pretty good matches. Me and AJ Styles, man, we had some really, really cool confrontations in the ring as well as out of the ring. I think I taught AJ Styles a whole lot about the art of the performance in the Shakespeare Romeo and Juliet. And I think he'll concur with that. I really do. I think if you ask AJ Styles, did Booker T help you in any way, shape, form, as far as going out in the ring, doing anything, I'm sure he's going to say, yeah.
Well, it's fun. It's funny, and I don't mean to cut you off, but the first time I met AJ was backstage at Toyota Center, and I think it was a SmackDown or a Raw or something, and we were about to interview him for the show, and then they called you to come shoot something real quick. So you left, and AJ and I were just sitting there, and at first it's kind of awkward. You don't really know each other, so you're just kind of sitting looking at your phone, and then he looked up. He goes, Booker taught me how to hit somebody with the belt. I was like, oh yeah. And I was like, yeah, I said, I think I've heard him talk about that. He's like, yeah, this is what he told me. And then he went into the story the same exact way you tell it. He told that story to me. And then we started bonding, but that was the first thing that he brought up.
No, man, I tried to make sure I taught those guys something, because I'm not one of those guys, saying, man, I'm trying to hold on to my spot, man, I'm never going to let it go or anything like that. And I always wanted to see these guys come up. I always wanted to see these guys, do everything that I did, see everything that I've seen, go around the world, do it the way I did it and do it better. I ain't got nothing against them. And if I could push them to the moon, put the rocket on them, you know what I mean? That's exactly what I'm going to do. So, hey, man, we got a whole lot to talk about. We still got a whole lot to talk about. Stick around. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, y'all. We Tales from the TNA Crypts, and it's actually good. We just getting moving all up.
Started, but
we're not going too fast. We're not going too fast. But let's keep it moving, man.
Before we move on, though, I want to take one question from Twitter because we have right now over 200 questions from Twitter. I want to take one real quick before we get deep into it. This is from Brian L. And this is a question that a lot of people have always had. What was with your African accent while you were in TNA? So there was a time where all of a sudden you had this different kind of voice. What was that about? You've never told me that. I've never even asked it, but what was the African accent about?
Oh man, the accent. It's all about the vibe. It's all about the vibe, man. It's all about the vibe. No, man. When I was at TNA, main event Mafia, right?
Mm-hmm.
In Mafia, you got a lot of, guys, Italians, right? They all got accents, normally, whatnot. So I thought, being in the Mafia, I should have like an African accent. I mean, right? I mean, when you look at it, it was an African accent, and it was just different. It was just expanding the character. I didn't want to be the same person I was, when I did leave, WWE. I didn't want to be the same person I was when I first came into TNA, and then being the main event Mafia, I was expanding there again. You got to always be thinking about, trying something and see if it worked.
Because your English accent worked for you, right? It got you to the top.
Yeah.
So why not try an African one?
I mean, it was closer to my roots anyway. So I thought I could pull it off a little bit better. But no, man, I was just having fun.
Was that what it was? Like in TNA, it gave you that liberty to, okay, I'm not in the pressure cooker of WWE. I'm in TNA. Still, a lot of people are watching, but I have a little bit more freedom to try stuff.
Yeah, I mean, they set me up to actually be something a little bit different because they gave me my own little office. They kind of catered to me a little bit. They gave me the robe when I first came in. They gave me the Legends Championship. Right. And the thing is, when they presented me with the Legends Championship when I first got there again, TNA not really having a direction already on paper before something like that happens. I was presented with the Legends Championship, and no one told me why. No one ever gave me a reason. No one ever, we never had any kind of big ceremony other than, no one pulled me in the office and said, hey, Book, Legends Championship, man, we're going to present you with this Legends Championship, and it's going to represent this. And for me, because it was a prop. For me, it was a prop. That's what it was. But it could have been a really, really cool prop. We really could have made that thing something and made, me having it mean something because other guys want to take it from me, so we never got to that point. I lost the Legends Championship on a house show that I wasn't even on. You know, so it's still, and then they changed the name of it. And the thing is, by that time, we'll get there. Things were totally in chaos. But
It was a pretty belt.
no, it was a gorgeous belt. Yeah, I mean, it was one of the most one of the most beautiful belts I've ever had the pleasure of holding and being a part of, and having it attached to my career. I was like, wow, this, I don't know. I think they, from what I heard, I think they spent $15,000.
See, I heard 30.
30?
I've heard 30,000,
Okay,
but you might know better than I. But that was always the internet rumor of TNA spent $30,000 on this belt.
No, I mean that could be true. That really could be true. But it was definitely one of the most beautiful belts that I've ever seen. And that belt really should have been their world title. It really should have. I mean, hands down, that should have been the world, TNA World Heavyweight Championship belt right there, because it has every quality.
It's beautiful.
Oh man, it really is. So, but it was a run, man. It was a run. But like I say, there again in TNA, everybody seemed like they were just off in different directions. But what I do remember is there again, speaking up for those guys, and then going on my first overseas tour. Actually, we went to England back in I think 2008, and 2008, and I remember it so vividly, man, because I had a match with Rhino. We had two nights there in England in the same arena, back-to-back nights, and both nights held about 5,000 people in the arena. Both nights was sold out, and I was like, man, and I remember working with Rhino, and
another guy who just come over from WWE at the time, right?
Another guy that just came over, and then Rhino and we get in the ring, and they announce his music. Boom, they announce my music, and we get in the ring, and we walking around, and then next thing you know, the people start saying, "Rhino, Booker T, Rhino." It was like a song going on for like literally minutes. And me and Rhino, we just stopped and we looked at each other and go, what the heck's going on here? We hadn't done anything, and the people was going crazy. And we worked that match, man, and the people went nuts, man. And I remember leaving that night. I was like, wow, man, this is something special, man. This is awesome. I was like, man, this company got a chance. They got a chance to move to the next level. And I was like, wow. But that was something that made me feel good. All right. But what didn't make me feel good was leading up to that match that day. Okay.
Well, what happened on the way up to that match?
Okay, leading up to that match right there. Now, I've been in the business. I've been in the business before getting into TNA for quite some time, 20 plus years in the business before I got to TNA. And I've worked in a lot of the smallest companies in the world that have gone other places, like overseas to the island, places like that. Going to Mexico, I've gone to Japan, Korea, all before I ever went on an overseas tour with TNA, and all of these tours that I went on, man, everything was proper. Everything was laid out properly. Your day, everything, what you're going to be doing, this, that, whatnot, and the other. And with TNA, what got me was we got to the arena that day and we didn't have catering. All right. No,
which I want to say, any entertainment event ever in the history of life, when you get to the event, even the things that I've done on my level, they have at least some sandwiches, some chips, cookies, maybe a few bottles of water. It's kind of expected as a performer that at least your lunch is going to be taken care of you, right?
Well, your lunch, and normally, when you're in the wrestling business, normally is your breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
It's normally your catering, and normally your dinner when you get back to the hotel.
Okay.
It's been that way everywhere that I have gone in this business. And if we didn't go back to catering, go back to the hotel and get it, the sponsor of the show would take us out, and we would all go out to eat after the show somewhere. And that's just the way it always worked for me.
And it's also a sign of respect for the performers, right? I mean, hey, you're putting on a show for us. You're helping us make money. Here's some food for you. It's just seen as a sign of respect.
No, it's not respect. It's not has nothing to do with respect. It's protocol.
Protocol. That's a better word.
It's protocol that happens. And when it didn't happen, I was like, "What the heck's going on? We have no catering here." Okay. I got upset. I got upset about it. Okay. And a lot of people beef on me, and I've gotten a bad rap about, my attitude in TNA, but I wasn't more upset about the catering for me. I was more upset about the catering for the boys, because literally they had those guys going out doing autograph signings, all kind of stuff that day. And then to come to the arena and not have any catering and then have to go out to wrestle. I just thought it was wrong. It was like dropping them on an island and saying, go find water. You know what I mean? If you see a mirage, just keep walking. And I was upset about it. And I was like, man, this is ridiculous. And I was like, okay, nothing happened. And but that night, when I went out and had fun, I was really upset. And then after the show, they actually wanted to pull over and get some food at one of the food trucks. And us get out and purchase some food. And I was like, man, this is ridiculous. I was hot about that. I just thought, from what I saw, going into, TNA and what I saw on television and them actually making it overseas, I just didn't expect that for the boys. And I was really, really upset about it. And that was one of the first times that I really got upset in TNA, because of the boys did not have food to eat. And everyone that we talked about tonight, they can attest to that 100%. Booker T was so hot, he wanted to get into a fight. Hey, guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. Yeah, man. What was that, man?
Oh, I mean, okay. You were upset regarding the catering, and I know that some people who see this are probably gonna be like, "Oh, there's Booker being a prima donna." He's acting like a star, but it does seem like if you're gonna fly all the way across the world to go put on a wrestling show, like it would be like the least expected thing.
Right? Well, this is the thing, man. I'm not.
What ended up? But I actually wanted to ask you. But what ended up happening? Did you?
Well, this is the thing, though. Everybody don't. I had a credit card. I could have got food. I could have ordered food out. There would have been no problem for me to eat. Okay, right. But everybody on that tour, they didn't have a credit card. Everybody over there, just because you see them on television, they're not making a whole lot of money. They're trying to make it.
Right.
And for me, like I say, I was really hot about it. The next day, we were only there for 2 days. The next day, we didn't have catering either, but they had an option for us. Okay,
an option.
Yeah, they had an option. We don't have catering, but Subway is right down the street. We're gonna send out for Subway sandwiches for everyone. Okay, and I'm from the hood. Look here, bro. I can eat a can of tuna. You know what I mean?
As long as I got something.
As long as this chunk, with water instead of all. You know what I mean? So I say, yeah, I'm cool with that. I'll take a turkey, foot long with cheese, and some chips, And the guy sit there and wrote it down, and then he goes, that'll probably be like $15. And I go, just like you just looked. So I ended up, I was still mad, pulled out a 20, whatever euro, and gave it to him, and he went and got the sandwich, and, yeah. And that was my first, encounter with TNA, and when I really got upset, but
When that happened, did you see? Because I know, obviously, going from WWE, who's a well-oiled machine, they've been doing it for 40, 50, 60 years, whatever it was at that time. Obviously, they're going to have their stuff together a little bit more than a company who'd only been in business for 4 or 5 years at the time. But was that your first inclination of, there might be some issues here organizationally within this company?
It was a sign, it was a sign, but I didn't take take it and say, hey, I'm gonna hold these guys and make a whole big scene out of this thing forever, because hey, maybe it's a one-time thing, but for me, there again.
Uh-oh. We lost Booker for 1 second, guys. We're going to get him right back. I'm going to try to add him back to the stream. Had a little internet issue there. Book, if you can hear me, just go ahead and try to rejoin. There he is.
Yeah.
There he is. Okay, you were saying.
Yeah, no, man. I was just saying, man, I was speaking up for everybody on that tour. And there again, if I got to get a little bit of heat for speaking up, there again, I got a rule, when you're 99%, keep your mouth shut. When you're 100%, you speak up 100% of the time. At this time, I thought it was 100% for me to speak up and speak loudly, because I know I wasn't the only person that had been on an overseas tour that was on that bus. I wasn't the only person that was on that tour that knew how things run when you go overseas. So I was a little hot about it because those people knew. And I just want to hold them accountable for putting those guys in that situation, being over there doing their job and not getting treated the proper way when they're going out and working their butts off for the company. I don't care if it was sandwiches or whatever it was in there. It should have been something in there for us to actually go out there and perform off of. So, I was hot about it. But there again, I had a great time that tour, man. I had a great time that tour. Remember going out to a nice little club, Charlie Haas, he was one of the boys. He was on that tour, and Sandman was on that tour too, man. Me and Sandy, Charlie Haas, a couple of other boys, we went out to this little club that night. And man, one thing about me, guys, you got to always be on top of your game. You got to always be, ready all the time. You got to stay ready. You know what I mean? You stay ready. You ain't got to get ready. That's what I say. So we went out, man. It took me about a good hour and a half to get dressed that night. I made sure I was looking real good. And Charlie Haas, I think he had on some cargo pants, something, and Sandy was cool. You know what I mean? Sandy had his James Dean on that night. And we actually, boom, got in the club, whatnot. And we was in there for about 15 minutes. And everything's going good. Everything party's fine. Great party. And and then next thing you know, this guy came walking, literally like it was a downstairs club too. So you had to go like underground. This guy come walking, looking for, looked like he was looking for someone, and then he came and found me, Sandman, Charlie Haas, and took us out, and told us they had somebody upstairs waiting on us. And they take us all back upstairs, and we go back on the street now, where we started. And we go, what's up? You know what I mean? So we thought something was wrong. And the guys got Charlie Haas' ass out there and told him he can't come in the club. And he was calling for us because of the way he was dressed. We go, man, we can't help you with that.
You left him hanging?
Heck yeah, we left him hanging. Oh man. Fun night though, man.
This is like somewhat on the Tales from TNA, but I have to ask you real quick. Every time I think of Sandman and you, do you remember the
what do you have on hoverboard?
Huh?
On my hoverboard.
Yeah, so we were doing the House of Hardcore Reality of Wrestling crossover show, and Booker has his hoverboard, and Sandman kept trying to steal Book's hoverboard and ride it around. I thought Book was going to put hands on this man.
He took a bump on it. That's when I got mad, man. I was like, what the heck, man? I just got that thing, bro. You know, but man, but Sandy's my boy, man. Sandy's my boy. He was my right hand man that night over there in England. But there again, man, I thought TNA had a hell of a chance at making a run. And reason being is because of their identity that they had, you know, pretty much created there over a period of how many years?
4 or 5 years. I mean, they started in 02. You got there in what, 07? So
yeah. So they had that 6-sided ring. That was different. It was fresh. That was different. Overseas, it looked like something totally new to those people overseas. So they was buying into it, getting the TV contracts over there. Man, it seemed like they had no problem working with overseas television. So they had a lot of momentum, and I really thought, just like I think with reality of wrestling, if they would have went with the young talent in TNA and really pushed those guys to the moon, AJ Styles, Joe, and all, Rude, all those guys, man, those guys would have been huge stars in that company, and that company could have became a monster if they would have played it properly and really thought about everybody playing their part. You know what I mean? Everybody go out and doing their job and coming together and creating a great show. TNA had the potential to be, literally 1-1 with WWE if they would have did things. And I'm not saying that, take me out of the equation. All right, take me completely out of the equation. And Nash and Kurt Angle, he went there a little bit before us. But take us out of the equation, but leave in the equation the blueprint and what TNA had built with the 6-sided ring and what they were getting people to actually focus in on, which was, one part was the knockouts division.
Yep.
And then the X division, which really, was a WCW throwback that they tried to make work properly. And I don't know if it was, somebody, moved out and somebody moved into position and things changed, writing changed, the vision changed. But it definitely, after about 3 months in TNA, I was like, okay, I see where this thing is going. And I still had over 1.5 years on my contract. And I was like, man, okay, what do I do now? I was in a position. So when I'm in a position, I figure out, okay, well, what route should I go? I say, okay, I'm making, the money. Come to work, make sure you're on time, go out and do your job properly. And, at the end of the 2-year run, we'll make a decision. We'll see where this thing go. But that's where I was with TNA. But there again, always something's gonna happen. And don't blame me. Blame the 100% rule. That's what you got to blame. You got to blame the 100% rule. When you're 100%, you speak up 100% of the time. When you're 99%, you keep your mouth shut. And that's why I was with TNA, because there again, like I said, another situation had to come up, but we're going to talk about it. Got to take a quick break. We're going to talk about it. And the thing is, people always throw the heat on me just because I get hot, okay? Don't blame me. Blame the 100% rule. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame.
That 100% rule can get you in trouble, man.
Oh, man, the 100% rule is for you guys out there, man, because you got to be willing to get fired when you use that rule. You got to know that, man, I'm right about this one, okay? And I'm going to speak up on it. And Okay, whatever y'all gonna say about me, you can say whatever you want to say, but I'm gonna say something. All right, and that's what the 100% rule is. Now, if you're 99% and you're unsure on if I'm right on this, and people gonna call you out on it, and you can't, hold your head and hold your ground. Um, Keep your mouth shut. But when you're 100%, you speak up 100% of the time. Now, another incident happened, when I was in TNA. It was 2008, Victory Road, pay-per-view right here in Houston, Texas, taking on one of my best friends, man, Samoa Joe. Man.
Young Joe looks right there.
Yeah, Joe's a monster, man. For me to actually get a chance to work with Joe, man, was an honor. Really was, because he could go. He could go. He's a throwback, old school, somewhat. As far as you hit me, okay, I'll hit you, and we'll hug each other after this match is over with, and we'll do it again next week. That's the kind of guy Joe is. So for me, there again, learning experience, man. I said, man, I could, hopefully get this guy a little bit of that knowledge. So for me, it was fun. The pay-per-view right here in my backyard in Houston, Texas. Now you got to understand there again, guys. I've been in a lot of companies. I've worked in a lot of places, throughout my tenure in the business. And it's a protocol. It's a protocol to, the way certain things are done. And I was like, okay, all right, cool. You know what I mean? That's just the way it is. All right, that's just the way it is. Now, coming to Houston, Texas, I know I'm going to have a job to do working for TNA. And that is to, hey, man, you got to sell the show. I mean, you got a lot of people that's going to want to be coming to the show as well. Tickets. You're going to, got to give away some tickets as well. You got to sell some tickets as well. We want to sell more than we give away. So let's go to work. Let's do some promotions, man. We gotta hit the radio stations. We gotta hit TV. We gotta do all of this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. Let's get it done. I'm down for whatever you guys need me to do. You need me to do a radio tour? Boom, hit me up. I'm down with it. Pay-per-view, Houston, me against Joe. Let me get out and do my work. Now, there again, I'm willing to do my part. Okay, I do my part. This guy do his part. This guy do his part. This guy do his part. Everybody do their part. We come together. We have a great show. That's normally the way it works. Okay, but on this day, when it came time for me to promote the show, I got a phone call from a guy. I don't have to say any names or anything like that, but then again, I can tell you who it was. Ross Foreman, guy that I go way back with. Ross, me and Ross, we still get friends right now. And I wasn't hot at Ross because Ross was not making any decisions or anything like that. But Ross called me and he goes, "Hey, Book, you ready for these promos? You ready for this tour?" And I go, "Yeah, man." He goes, "Can you meet me over at the W Hotel or something?" It was in the Galleria. Okay, now you got to understand, I live in Friendswood, and the Galleria for me in traffic could be 40 minutes. Okay, and for
maybe
me,
maybe an hour.
Yeah, in traffic, and I was like, "Bro, do you know how far I live from the Galleria?" And I said, "Man, I'm not driving to the Galleria. What are you talking about? It's a radio tour. Somebody's supposed to be coming to pick me up." And he goes, I say, who am I going to do the radio tour with? He goes, "Me." and I go, "You?" I say, "What kind of car you got?" He goes, "A Camry. It's a rental." I go, "Man, I'm not going to no autographs. I mean, I'm not going to no promo tour, radio tour, with you in no Camry." I say, "Man, y'all need to send a car to pick me up." I say a limo,
But explain why that's important. You being in the main event of you're the hometown guy, pay-per-view draw. Why is it important? Why is the appearance important?
Man, impressions are everything. The way you look is everything. And one of the reasons why it was out of order for me is because at that time, small little company here in Houston, Texas, Reality of Wrestling, we had several guys from TNA come into Reality of Wrestling, several of them, and every one of them got picked up in a limo and brought to the show and taken back. And we didn't spend any money for it or anything like that. It was in the promotion, we did something, it was a favor, whatnot. But it's something that is supposed to happen, especially when you're going to have fans at the radio station and you roll up in a Camry and get out and they think that's what TNA is, opposed to rolling up in a limo. And that's the perception of TNA being in a limo. I thought it was important for the company. And I come to realize none of those guys at that time had got limos to go do that kind of stuff. And I was like taken aback from it a little bit. And they called me, they go, hey, Book, you don't want to go to, you're not going to go do the promos, man. I go, man, I said, I'll go do them, but somebody needs to send me a car. And the guy goes, well, you got a lot of nice cars, don't you? And I go, yeah, got 5 of them. And then I rattled them all off. And I said, they're all going to stay at home. I say, man, it's not my job to do that work for you guys. I say, man, come on here. I say, this is the least. And I got heat for wanting a limo to go do the promo tour in Houston. That was one of the things I got heat for. Now, after that,
when you say you got heat from who?
Well, no one really, said anything or came to me and said anything, but it was written. It was written that Booker T was one of the most hated in the locker room at TNA, and the thing is, I wasn't hated. I don't, at least I don't think I was. Maybe people that didn't like me in the office because I was making noise for the boys, and it was something that I felt like. And I tell you what, after I didn't take the limo treatment, everybody else started getting limos after that. Everybody started getting treated a certain way after that. And people, can say what they want to say, but I don't think that was, I don't think it was wrong of me to, just say, for instance, they didn't send a limo. They could have sent a sedan. They could have sent a SUV.
Lincoln Town Car, something that's got some class to it.
Something.
Right.
Got some class to it.
But it sounds like to me, though, Book, that you weren't doing all this stuff for you. It more so sounds like you were the voice box or the speaker box for the entire locker room of, hey, once a Book sees it's wrong, he's going to speak up, not for himself, for selfish purposes. He's going to speak up for everybody. Is that true, or am I mischaracterizing what you're saying?
No, you 100 dead, 100%. And I'm gonna tell you right now, every one of those guys, I'm guaranteeing you 100% that they would back me up on it and say it's true, because it's true. This is no story or anything like that. I made sure I stood up for those guys and made sure that, hopefully if they're in that position, they'll know how they should be getting treated. Just like when I tell my girls that leave, reality of wrestling, I say, if someone not treating you the way I'm treating you, go talk to somebody. It's that simple. If these guys saw me in TNA, AJ, and all those guys, trust me, if they saw me going off, they was, backing me up and laughing right behind me, because I was doing it because they knew, Book's right. And I'll tell you right now to this day that I'm right about it, 100%. And because I believed in the talent there. I believed in what that company could have been. But when situations like that happen, when I've been in the business for a very long time, just say, for instance, I go for it and I say, yeah, okay, fine. But now the thing is, there was a lot of situations in that company that I didn't like and I didn't say anything about, just because, I'm from the hood. I don't need, prime star treatment all the time. Some of the hotels, man, I mean, you gotta be kidding me. But I'm not above, staying at the Days Inn. I'm not, that's just my nature. That's just where I'm from. But when certain things are happening, and the thing is too, I understand cutting costs. I understand when, it's we got to save some money here. But a limo, you shouldn't have to spend any money for getting a limo for talent when you're a company the size of TNA, when you know how to have a barter system going into, some limo company's office or having a limo company on hand. I just thought it was, I just didn't think, man, I was like, wow, I can't believe that they didn't have that kind of structure, at least that kind of structure, that little bit of structure in place. And I was a little bit shocked about it, so that right there again, another story. You know, I'm always, you know, looked at, you know, I'm the bad guy. We'll take a couple of questions on the back end here when we come back. But I got one more story, man. One more, and it's the one the straw that broke the camel's back in TNA, that everybody's like, man, Booker T sucks. He really sucks. He's the worst person in the world. I've never seen anybody as bad as Booker T, you know. But stick around. Stick around for this one. We'll be back in a minute.
And we're back.
What, man? Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, y'all. We got any questions out there real quick before we go?
Yeah, no, we actually have a ton of questions. I was just
we'll take a couple.
All right, let's go to David A. David A wants to know, what was your reaction when Bischoff and Hogan came in and changed the 6-sided ring to 4 sides?
You know, I had left that week before.
You left a week before?
Yeah, I left the week before Hogan came in, and then when I came in, honestly, this is what I thought. When they changed the 6-sided ring to the 4-sided ring, and I heard it was being debated, and I was like, me personally, I didn't agree with it, because there again, I really truly believed in the identity that TNA had built that was different than any other wrestling company that had ever been produced. And having that 6-sided ring, it was just different. And the thing is, did I like the 6-sided ring? Not really. It wasn't my cup of tea.
I heard it was very hard.
Well,
very hard ring.
Hard, and you know, it was a lot of times guys, you know, use a little bit better to do their tricks off of and whatnot. You know, their back spring elbows, and the thing is, I knew I wasn't going to be taking many bumps, and I knew I wasn't going to be jumping off the top rope. So it didn't matter.
You were good.
I was very good with the situation. And then when Hogan came in and Bischoff, and they changed it to a 4-sided ring, and I don't know what the reason was. But
I always heard that their reasoning was a 4-sided ring that looks like a wrestling show, 6-sided looks like a gimmick.
Okay. Now that being said, like I say, I'm thinking about the future. I'm not thinking about the past. I'm thinking about the identity that this company had built. And then when they went away from the 6-sided ring because of Hogan coming in, and I thought, me personally, Hogan should have been and would have been thinking about the same thing that I was just talking about, was I'm not going to be doing anything off the top rope. I'm not going to be taking too many bumps. So it doesn't matter if these young kids want to go around and do all this stuff. We need them to do that. That's just part of it. But I thought moving away from the 6-sided ring was the bullet in the head. Literally, that was, you know, the thing that just really, you know, put TNA totally out of the question as being something different and something new and something that people could really believe in.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that that was one of the things that when I first saw TNA, I was like, man, what is going on with this 6-sided ring? This is cool. You know, I never seen anything like it. So it definitely kept me interested. Someone else was asking about the match. I'm trying to find what event it happened. Oh yeah. Victory Road 09, the year after. The Charmel versus Jenna match. People were asking about that. I don't know if you remember it, but it's widely regarded as one of the worst matches in wrestling.
Charmel hate talking about that. Yeah. Charmel do not want to talk about that.
So let's keep it moving.
Oh man, I'm serious, man. I'm serious. If I talk about that match, I could get in big trouble.
Big heat for Booker T.
You know what, man? But there again, you know, Charmel's not booking the show.
Right.
Yeah, they know Charmel's qualifications as far as her going out there and having a great match, you know, and then, you know, generally, and same thing. It's just something, you know, I don't know. Like I say, I really thought TNA had a huge chance to win, but it all comes down to, the ideas and, the creation of, what we're trying to get the fans to buy into and watch. And it's a very small window too, especially with a company like TNA, to get the people and be able to hook them and keep them forever for a long time, like Coca-Cola. Man, it's really, really hard. So being persistent and consistent on a regular basis is very, very important, and that's something that company did not do ever. As far as those two things.
So I guess, this is our last seg. So you said there was one more story that you wanted to talk about where everyone said, man, Booker T sucks.
Man, Booker T sucks, man. It was the first time we went to Germany and Switzerland. And it was a huge tour for TNA, man. And I was excited. The one thing though, we had catering. That was the second tour. We had catering, and then I tell all the boys, man, y'all can thank me for that. Y'all can thank me for the catering this time. And everybody's, thank Buck, appreciate you, dog. No, man, it was but that was in 2009. And that's when everything was going in the wrong directions, just like the stock market right now with, everything going on in the world with jobs. Everything, it seemed like the bottom was falling out of TNA at that point in time. We started out in Nuremberg and September 25th. And it was, man, a show that was just, a big building with, no people in it. I don't know. We might have had a couple of hundred people in the building that night. And I remember going to one of the arenas, might have been the second night. And we roll in and there's a big WWE sign right next to the building. Talking about coming to town and whatnot, like a week or so later after we was coming. And, we didn't have a big crowd that night. And then we went to the next town, September 29th, Dortmund, Germany. And, man, that night was the night. And I was like, man, we finna this night right here, we finna strike gold. I was talking to Mick Foley. We was outside, I was taking a little outside break. And, and man, there was people coming in from everywhere, man. I mean, the building was literally, it looked like it was 20,000. I mean, sellout house, man. I was pretty excited. Then we rolled back in, get the show started. I get my gear on, and then I don't hear the people rumbling. I'm waiting to hear them rumble. And I go and look out the curtain, and I don't see, all those people we saw coming in. And the next thing we know, we could hear through the walls of the arena is, hey, ole, 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 ole. They was having a soccer match the next door, on the same night. I was like, oh my God, this is great booking. What the heck's going on here? So we moved to Hanover, Germany. And that show didn't turn out so great as well. Leaving from Hanover, we was going to Zurich. And Zurich from Hanover to Zurich is an hour and 5 minutes by flight. Now they wanted to take a bus and drive 10 hours, then take a flight from there to Zurich for some reason, I don't know. And they wanted to take that bus for 10 hours, and I said, ain't no way in hell my queen, Charmel, is going to be on a bus with a bunch of men for 10 hours, okay? I said it ain't going to happen, you know what I mean? Because men, they're disrespectful. They might break wind. They do all kind of stupid stuff and think it's funny. And I was like, ain't no way I'm putting my wife in that situation. And I refused to do it. And so I called the airport overseas and found out to take a flight from, from Hanover to Zurich was less than $400. And it wasn't going to be but an hour and 4 minutes. We took the flight the next day, in the afternoon, got to Zurich comfortably in first class. Took a cab to the hotel. Got to the hotel before anybody got there. The guys walked in literally a couple hours after we got there. Charmel and I, we was in the lobby of the hotel. Now, they had been on a journey. I heard all kind of strange stories about that trip. No way I would have wanted Charmel to be on it. And they walked in, and man, Jay Lethal and Awesome Kong, they looked like they had been through the ringer. They looked like they were. I said, guys, come over, sit down. Come sit down. They came to my table. We were sitting there eating breakfast. I said, brunch. I said, sit down, guys. Already something to eat. You know, so they sit down. We ate brunch. They was like, man, God, thank God y'all didn't do that. So I was like, cool. Okay, now the show that night. Now this is the clincher. All right, I got 2 minutes. But this is the clincher right here. I've been in a lot of shows. Normally we got security. If we don't got security, we got guys with shirts on that say staff. All right. I try to always peep out the situation, figuring out what's going on here, what's going on there. Now, in this situation, we're in the ring, Scott Steiner and I, we going against Beer Money and Hernandez. All right. Now, okay, fine. Scott Steiner, he's a wild one. He's a loose cannon. Now, I normally do my stick too, but I look around, I roll out the ring to mess with a fan, but I'm always looking for the security to actually stand behind the security guard and talk crap. No security guard I can find. I look around and looking for the staff guys. No staff guys. Scott Steiner ripped the Swiss flag. All right. And next thing you know, beer bottles start coming into the ring. Beer bottles, literally glass beer bottles all over the place. Bing, 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 bing. And I got my queen. We got up out of there and we went to the back. All right. I remember one of the guys came back and said, Book, you going back out? I said, no, I'm not going back out, man. You crazy? I'm the only black person in the country, probably. And then Kurt Angle comes in. He goes, Book, we got to go back out. We got to go back out because Kurt was with us as well. And I said, Kurt, I'm done for the night. Took my tape off, and I did not work no more that night because we had no security, taking care of us. And it was no way I was going to put myself or my wife back in that situation. Now, they hate me because I didn't go out and finish that match and put myself in that situation. But they, like I say there again, they had zero security. And I just didn't feel like it was right or responsible to have us in a situation like that. And there again, I got a lot of heat from it. It's one story I didn't tell. We'll have to come back around on it. The infamous Matt Morgan story.
Oh, we got to talk about that.
All right, guys, stick around and check us out. We'll be back on Wednesday night. But I appreciate you guys every time. Bradley, again, dog, appreciate you. We up out of here.